Hey, we're going to try this again. I just tried a live and had a little bit of technology. So let's start at the top. Hey, this is Amy coming to you from Michigan, Southern Michigan, and just wanted to do kind of a challenging thought for you so pass this around if you find it encouraging. Right now I'm seeing our nation, and this has been the way that it's been for a while. So background, I've been involved in politics for about 23 years. Love it. Very passionate about being in the arena, but with excellence, especially if you're going to be a person of faith in the arena. You have to do it not just with passion, but you have to do it with wisdom, and really being in the arena to serve and not just demand, not just assume that everybody sees what you see or knows what you know, but to step into this space really with a desire to learn, but to also to serve. And the longer that I believe strongly that the longer you're in the political arena, you will, especially if you do it with integrity, you will have greater credibility. Your credibility, your influence comes from your credibility, and your influence grows as you're in the arena longer, and as you're in the arena longer with a good name. So over 23 years that I've been involved, and you see so many people that get in and out of the arena, and it's really heartbreaking because a lot of people could do a lot of good, but they give up too quickly and they walk away and they say, oh, my candidate lost, my cause lost, this is too hard. In essence is what they're saying. It's too hard. I've got to go back to life. Where my hope would be that eventually more and more Americans will see it isn't just a job. It actually is. It's an honor to be alive now. It's an honor to live in a country that we can be free and that we have the opportunity to let our voices be heard, like by voting, but also by showing up to civic meetings. My hope is that more and more citizens will come to realize that it is their duty to be involved and to show up in small and big ways. And one of the things that I'm seeing is that our nation, everybody is so obsessed with what's going on the national level, somewhat the state level, but even the international level. I guarantee you that some people know more about what is happening in the Middle East than they do about what is happening in their own county. And that bothers me. I believe that we should have some idea of what is going on in our local community, and we should really have a heart to serve and a desire to be a part of the solution and not just be on social media pontificating. So some of the things that I'm seeing around the state, a former state representative and we have just kind of been sharing notes, and we're in desperate need for more and more good men and women of all ages to step in to run for office, like in township and village and school board. And we are seeing that even if you get somebody in a local office, they can be the only conservative, and that can be a lonely road, and they are sometimes not even aware of what their rights or what their guidelines are. And so we really, not only do we need to find more local people to run for office, we need to help them know the objective, good questions to ask to see, okay, even though this is how we've done it for decades, is this the law? Is this really what I need to do? So what I think that we all need to be very mindful of is that when you see a story about what's happening in Wayne County, granted, Wayne County is different than Kent County. The UP is different from Jackson County, right? But we need to have this mindset that if something is happening in one part of our state, it's highly possible it could happen in our area. So I was talking to a friend today, and he was telling me about on the east side of the state, there's a school district that there have been all these groups that are showing up to talk on this topic, that the issue is, should educators, again, I don't remember exactly whether it was a teacher or administrator, right? But someone in the education arena, should they be able to refer for abortions? This isn't like in the Middle East, this is here. And so how do we pay attention to what's going on and flag things not only for our own hearts and minds, but also for our local community? I will tell you, one of the most disheartening things is going to a local meeting, and I've gone to, say, like a school board meeting, and I don't have kids. I'm not a parent. I don't work at the school, and I'm like, where are all the other taxpayers? Where are all the other adults in the community that should care? So the purpose of this video is really just to kind of challenge us to say, there are other pieces going on around the state that you need to be aware of. Are you aware of like the green energy, how that is coming in like a storm, and how there are community members that are pressing back on this and pushing back on certain areas? There's the abortion issue in some education. Are you aware of the crisis that schools are about to hit if they're not at it already because funding has run out? COVID money was relied on so much for so long, and that money is gone now. And you have schools that are going to be asking for more millages. But are you aware of how your communities are so overburdened with millages? They don't want more millages. Are you aware of law enforcement, of what's going on with law enforcement? Eaton County just lost a massive millage, and they are possibly losing their own road patrol. Hillsdale County's without road patrol at night. Isabella, I think it's Isabella County, like they've had to cut road patrol, right? All of these pieces, like, while the state is so diverse and so multi-pronged, like even you take Wayne County, there are certain things in one part of Wayne County that's a part of that culture that's completely different from a few miles down the road. But there's still a value in us understanding what is happening. And so I think that we need to start challenging the people in our churches, in our communities. We need to start challenging retirees. We need to start challenging even young people. We need to start going to local meetings. If you can't be there, tune in, be alive. You need to know the people on the board who are championing your issues. You need to have a relationship with them, have their backs. But then you also need to find ways that you can be a part of the solution. My big argument, and I'll end with this, is the world is obsessed with Donald Trump right now, Elon Musk, and everybody at the top. I am so thankful that Donald Trump is president. Don't get me wrong. But to me, it feels like, as you see what is happening with our local communities that are so desperately in need of people with solutions, it's almost as though someone walked up to you on the street and said, hey, I have a new house for you, and it has a beautiful roof. I mean, all you need to pay attention to is the roof. Like, you should be so excited about the roof. And you say to them, well, that's awesome, but how's the foundation? And they say, the foundation doesn't matter. It's falling apart, but it doesn't matter. Donald Trump will not be in office for forever. And in fact, I have heard a congressman make the most brilliant point. He said, we need to work so that Donald Trump is not just a 2-year president. The midterms elections are coming up. And if the Democrats have their way, they will overturn the House, overturn the Senate, therefore that the president no longer has the majority to get things done. And he will spend the next 2 years hearing everything about impeachment. So we all have a moral responsibility to not only make sure Donald Trump has a strong 4 years, but that means being involved now so that the midterms elections are successful. And not only that, that when he leaves in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you and I need to be able to look at each other and say, thank God for what Donald Trump did during that season. But if it wasn't for everything that we did on the local level of rebuilding the wall and when I'm saying that, I refer to like the story of Nehemiah. If you've never read the book of Nehemiah in the Bible, you should go read it. It is powerful. He had a vision. He was given a position of authority. He went to the king, said, here's a crisis basically in my city. The king said, I'll give you what you need. Go take care of the issue. He went back to the city. He had a vision. He gathered the people around. They were able to rebuild their fortress in like a matter of days. And it wasn't because they all thought the same thing and they all worked on the same project. It's because they each took a chunk of it. Like one family took this part of the wall. Another family took this gate. Another family took this. So, right? So it all comes back to the townships. It all comes back to local communities. It all comes back to your county. That if you feel overwhelmed, you need to be looking at not what's going on in the state, national, or international. You need to start knowing your local elected leaders and being involved there. Because ultimately, I believe that is in part where our responsibility lies. I hope Donald Trump has an amazing 4 years of office, but when he's done, we still need America to exist. So if you're one of those, it's like, I don't know how I can do to help, stop listening to that lie in your head. You can do something. Start by walking out on your front porch and looking down at your feet and saying, where I stand, that is my territory. That is the area I am meant to influence. So if you live in the city, that street, you should know every neighbor. In that street, you should find out who your city council is. You should contact them, even if you can't go to meetings, but say, what do you need? How can I help you? If there's somebody that's completely opposite from your values, you need to work to find a better option for that seat for the next election. If you live in a township, do you know your township members? Do you know your neighbors? Are you going to township meetings? Or maybe it's a school district. Maybe a friend takes on the township and you take on the school district. Maybe you're involved in your county commission, but you've got to do something. And even if it's starting with prayer, but I'm telling you, we've got to start challenging one another that prayer is not enough. Prayer and action is what proves our faith is alive. So there's a lot of good going on. But as you have the news on, you're listening to everything on the national, my desire is that you will hear a whisper, a nagging whisper in your heart and mind that will say, what's going on in DC is important, but what's going on in my backyard? Thanks for listening. Share this if you find it helpful, and hang in there. The best days are yet to come.